Having already lifted the Triple Crown, England still had hope of taking the 2014 RBS Six Nations Championship if results went their way in Rome and later in the afternoon in Paris. The equation for Stuart Lancaster's team was straightforward: beat Italy and then hope that France could score a narrow win over Ireland in Paris, which would be good enough for a 27th title for England. There was also the long shot of a cricket score victory for England, in the hope of making up a 49-point scoring deficit to Ireland should the Irish win in Paris. Just one change, with Mako Vunipola in for Joe Marler, whose partner was about to give birth. Although Italy were looking for their first ever RBS Six Nations win over England, their last 3 defeats in Rome were all by very narrow margins, and with the return of the influential Sergio Parisse to bolster their pack, coach Jacques Brunel was hoping his side could record a final day victory for the 3rd season in a row. Lorenzo Cittadini and Matias Aguero came into the front row in the only other changes to the Italian starting lineup. Early on, Luciano Orquera and Owen Farrell swapped penalties to leave it 3-all after 11 minutes. And it wasn't long before the away side went into the lead. Mike Brown had been a contender for player of the tournament from early on in the campaign, with a series of top-class performances. And in the 14th minute, he once again demonstrated what he's capable of, with a devastating burst of speed on the left wing for his 3rd try of the championship. A superb piece of work from the Harlequins full-back, leaving Michele Campagnaro and Luke McLean in his wake. Farrell did well to convert, and suddenly England had a 10-3 lead just short of the quarter-hour mark. Orquera tagged on another penalty for 6 points to 10, but when England attacked, they always looked threatening, and as they pressed the Italians close to their own line past the half-hour mark, they broke the home side's resistance with a well-worked effort. Playing with an advantage, Danny Kerr popped the ball up for Farrell to run onto, and the out half skipped over, running behind the posts untouched for the visitors' 2nd try of the afternoon. A good score, and it left Farrell with the simple task of tapping the conversion over to lead 17 points to 6 with plenty of time remaining. Then 2 minutes before the break, another devastating Brown try. It was a superbly constructed score from the line-out. Quick passing and great support from Brown, who collected Farrell's pass and charged for the line in the manner of an Olympic sprinter. Brown celebrating his 4th try of the tournament. The big margin of victory England needed to pressure Ireland was becoming a possibility as half-time approached. Farrell converted with precision, and England could take a 24 points to 6 lead into the break. 10 minutes after the resumption, as England pressed for a 4th try, Italy found themselves in trouble. As Burrell reached for the line, the ball broke to Marco Bortolami in an offside position. The referee showed the experienced campaigner a yellow card, and he was off for 10 minutes. And immediately England swooped. The pressure they were applying was incessant, and the gap in the Italian defence was found when Brown fed Jack Nowell, who dived over for his 1st try in an England shirt. A huge moment in the career of the 20-year-old Exeter Chiefs player, and when Farrell converted, the lead was extended to 31 points to 6 in England's favour. There wasn't going to be any way back for Italy from this, and it was now a question of how many points England could tag on in the last 25 minutes. They notched try number 5 on 61 when prop Vunipola was up in support of Billy Twelvetrees, and the man born in Wellington evaded the tired-looking tackles to cross over for his 1st try for England, as the scoreboard continued to tick over for the visitors. Farrell added the extra 2 points for 38-6, the Italians facing a rearguard action in the final quarter of the game. The Azzurri were visibly tiring with the effort they were having to put in to hold out the rampaging English, and in the 68th minute the cracks appeared once more when Farrell fed substitute Manu Tuolangi, who forced his way over the line for try number 6. A great moment for Tuolangi after a 6-month absence through injury, and it left Farrell with another easy conversion for 45-6. England closing in on the sort of lead they needed to rein in the 49-point gap enjoyed by Ireland. But hopes Lancaster's men might have had of putting extra pressure on the Irish ahead of the game in Paris were set back almost immediately from the restart. When the ball was fed to Joe Launchbury, he instantly passed it, but it was intercepted by Leonardo Sarto, who sprinted to the line for the Italians' first try of the afternoon. A score that closed the gap back to 34 points, with Tommy Allan's conversion going wide. Sarto adding to the try he scored against Ireland the previous week. This one merely a consolation score, but a real setback to England's points tally. There was still time for one more England score, and it came as the clock moved past 80 minutes. Substitute George Ford fed captain Chris Robshaw, who rounded off the afternoon with another try. And the conversion followed from the impeccable boot of Farrell. It meant a 52 points to 11 win for England. Not quite enough to put extra pressure on Ireland later in the day, but not far off their previous record win in Rome of 59 points to 12. All the England players could do now was wait for news from Paris. And although later in the day the word from the French capital would be disappointing for Stuart Lancaster's troops, they can now look ahead to their summer in New Zealand with confidence. And with the World Cup on the horizon, this England team will surely feature strongly. It's the wooden spoon for Italy, but with a young squad and some seasoned campaigners, there could be some exciting times ahead for the Azzurri. Final score at the Stadio Olimpico, Italy 11, England 52.